Here's the great news. How often in 100 days do you get to change the trajectory of the world? How often in 100 days do you get to do something that's going to impact generations to come? And how often in the world do you make that bastard wake up afterwards and know that a black woman kicked his ass and sent him on the road?
Talk to him! You better talk to him! Welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. Well, there you have it. Vice President Harris has selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate, opting for the former high school teacher and Midwestern Democrat to join her on the newly formed presidential ticket, according to a campaign announcement on Tuesday. And personally, I would like to apologize to Tim Walz. I owe you a huge apology. I did a whole video about all the potential VP selections and did not include Tim Walz. That's what you call just being honest. I'm keeping it 100 with everybody. That is my bad, Tim. Although, from the way that I dealt with all the people that were actually featured in that video, it might be better for you. Admiral McCraven, I appreciate your service, but you ain't bringing no state. You ain't bringing no steak. You got to come. You came to a party with no wine. You got no wine. You got no bread. You got nothing. It might be better for you. At 60, Walz brings a unique profile to the ticket, as many Democrats believe his inclusion will be politically advantageous. Harris, at 59, who has a background in deep blue California, chose Walz from a group of finalists that included predominantly white men, aiming to balance the ticket with a representative from a more competitive region. See? We told you! Walz's political career began later in life, following more than 20 years as a teacher and coach in service in the Army National Guard. He won Minnesota's first congressional district seat in 2006 and later became governor in 2018. His selection marks a significant moment for the Harris campaign, aiming to build a strong partnership and appeal to critical voters. Now, compared to other potential running mates, Walz is less known nationally and has received less scrutiny. In other words, he hasn't been dragged to the white meat like all the rest of them have been, whether it be Shapiro and his stance on Gaza and that whole business with the IDF, or Pete Buttigieg and their homophobia, or Gavin Newsom and laying on the rug with Kim Guilfoyle. Huh? Oh, that was me? That was me that said that? Not only can we not have two people from California, is just you on the rug with Kim Guilfoyle? Yeah, the same one that thought we were fighting communism on the beaches of Normandy? Yeah, that's you with Kim Guilfoyle, right? Yeah, that's disqualifying. Although Minnesota is not traditionally a battleground state, Walz's background as a veteran and former congressman from a conservative district could help Harris attract working-class white voters who have leaned away from Democrats in recent years. Now, Walz gained national attention as Harris started to consider him for the role, especially after making headlines for his critique of Trump and Republicans. Oh, he went all the way in.
What I know is that people like J.D. Vance know nothing about small-town America. My town had 400 people in it, 24 kids in my graduating class, 12 were cousins, and he gets it all wrong. It's not about hate. It's not about collapsing in. The golden rule there is mind your own damn business. Their policies are what destroyed rural America. They've divided us. They're in our exam rooms. They're telling us what books to read. And I think what Kamala Harris knows is bringing people together around the shared values, strong public schools, strong labor unions that create the middle class, healthcare that's affordable and accessible. Those are the things. You look what they're talking about. They went right to division. They did not give us a plan on healthcare. Donald Trump talked about infrastructure. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris built bridges, built roads. So I think this is going back to the bread and butter, getting away from this division. We do not like what has happened where we can't even go to Thanksgiving dinner with our uncle because you end up in some weird fight that is unnecessary. and I think bringing back people together, well, it's true. These guys are just weird. And it's, you know, they're running for He-Man Women Haters Club or something. That's what they go at. That's not what people are interested in. And there is angst because robber barons like J.D. Vance and Donald Trump gutted the Midwest, told us we didn't do that. They talk about private schools. Where in the heck are you going to find a private school in a town of 400? Those are public schools. Those are great teachers that are out there making a difference and gave us an opportunity to succeed. That angst that J.D. Vance talks about in Hillbilly Elegy, none of my hillbilly cousins went to Yale, and none of them went on to be venture capitalists or whatever. It's not who people really are. So I think that message doesn't resonate. You saw it yesterday. The energy out here exploded. We all broke fundraising records, but that's not what I look at. Door knocks are full. Phone banks are full. People are talking about what's possible. We are finally on offense about an America where we're all together. So good. Have Orban down to Florida. The vice president will come out here and stand in a Planned Parenthood. She stands in a Planned Parenthood clinic in St. Paul. That's what people want to see.
As the election nears, Walz will need to introduce himself to a broader audience and prepare for potential debates, including one against Trump's chosen running mate, Senator J.D. Vance. And I find it hilarious that Walz needs to prepare for a debate with J.D. Vance, even though Trump himself is too chicken to debate Kamala Harris. Although I can't blame him, because there is no way that's going to go well for him. I can tell you that right now. He got some good advice just to look bad now over looking bad later. By the way, Tim Walz, this is what you're up against. This is where the bar is set for potential VP.
Are you a racist? Do you hate Mexicans?
Look, I love my wife so much. I love her because she's who she is. Obviously, she's not a white person.
Now, where can I get a good fried bologna sandwich right now? All right, this is the guy who makes it. But I you know, I'll tell you another story. That's right. He probably does have an IQ of 210, but don't tell him that. Don't tell him that. So, I love you guys.
Yeah, it's bad. It is bad. So you should feel very comfortable. I mean, going up against J.D. Vance is kind of like taking over the Commanders after Dan Snyder. Like, it's just like anything you do, we just gonna applaud it. You know what I mean? And for those that are not sports fans, it will be like being Wiz Khalifa's next boo thing after Amber Rose. Harris and Walz will kick off their campaign with a rally in Philly, starting a 4-day tour of key battleground states like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nevada. Now, I know many of you guys don't know Tim Walz very well, so I thought I would let the man introduce himself.
These are weird people on the other side. They want to take books away. They want to be in your exam room. I've got a 23-year-old who told me TikTok is on fire. Go ahead and continue to denigrate people. Go ahead. My God, they went after cat people. Good luck with that. Turn on the internet and see what cat people do when you go after them.
Don't fuck with cats.
It'd be funny if it wasn't so sad. They see the least fortunate among us as scapegoats and punchlines for them. Kamala Harris and Democrats see them as our neighbor. You know, get sugarcoating this. These are weird ideas. Listen to them speak. Listen how they talk about things. Told them that they shouldn't talk about race. They can't help it. It is built into their DNA because there is no plan. There's no healthcare plan. There's no healthcare plan. There's nothing to do on this. They want to take away our alliances and leave Russia to do whatever they want. The minute they all step on the stage, the American people have lost. Are they going to debate who can ban the most books? The same old failed policies. Instead of putting out a memo like that, tell us what your health care plan is. Donald Trump told us he would do that on day one back in 2017. There's nothing there.
But you've legalized recreational marijuana, you passed universal background checks on guns, you expanded LGBTQ protections, you implemented tuition-free college for low-income Minnesotans. There's free breakfast and lunch for school kids.
What a monster. Kids are eating and having full bellies so they can go learn, and women are making their own health care decisions. And we're a top 5 business state, and we also rank in the top 3 of happiness. To think that any way this is normal. You got a former president that thinks calling names and spreading lies is the way to get people. They're continuing to shrink the electorate on their side. Their ceiling and their floor are the same, and I don't think it's going anywhere. So I'm just excited. What I know is that people like J.D. Vance know nothing about small-town America. My town had 400 people in it, 24 kids in my graduating class, 12 were cousins, and he gets it all wrong. It's not about hate. It's not about collapsing in. The golden rule there is mind your own damn business. Donald Trump talked about infrastructure. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris built bridges, built roads. So, look, they are bad on foreign policy. They are bad on the environment. They certainly have no health care plan. And they keep talking about the middle class that, as I said, a robber baron real estate guy and a venture capitalist trying to tell us they understand who we are. They don't know who we are. That angst that J.D. Vance talks about in Hillbilly Elegy, none of my hillbilly cousins went to Yale, and none of them went on to be venture capitalists or whatever.
Now, here he is signing a law guaranteeing free breakfast and lunch for all Minnesota students.
It is now law.
We could have used that. We could have used that when I was growing up. I mean, I had the money for lunch, but I shouldn't have been trusted with the money. Now, because the money never made it to lunch, I would just blow it on hot Cheetos and blow pops after second period. I would have preferred this arrangement where it's just taken out of my hands completely. By the way, here is his stance on the war in Gaza, addressing the uncommitted folks directly.
Yeah, look, they're engaged. We're really proud in Minnesota. Civic responsibility. We have some of the highest voter turnouts. These are voters that are deeply concerned, as we all are. The situation in Gaza is intolerable. And I think trying to find a solution, a lasting two-state solution, certainly the president's move towards humanitarian aid and asking us to get to a ceasefire, that's what they're asking to be heard. And that's what they should be doing. We've gone through this before, and we know that now we make sure we've got 8 months. We start bringing these folks back in. We listen to what they're saying. That's a healthy thing that's happening here. But I would note that that the former president lost twice as many votes here in Minnesota to Nikki Haley. And I've seen some of these exit polls out of North Carolina and others. 80% of folks said they're not voting for him who voted for Nikki Haley. We'll get these folks back. I think it's take them seriously. Their message is clear that they think this is an intolerable situation and that we can do more. And I think the president's hearing that. Look, I think she's got an opportunity to show the leadership that we know is there. Look, those folks express their opinion, and I'm proud to be part of a party that doesn't all wear the same red hats and bow down a knee to one guy. They're frustrated by this. I think there's a golden opportunity to recognize we need a two-state solution, that the atrocities of October 7th are painful and they're real, and Israel's right to defend itself is real, but also the situation in Gaza is intolerable. The humanitarian crisis must be brought to an end. So I think having President Harris at a point, bringing folks together, recentering us as a world leader in peace and holding our alliances together, I think she's got a great opportunity, and I remain hopeful that that's the direction we need to go. It's certainly not going to be the failed policies of a wannabe dictator, which we've seen out of President Trump.
By the way, y'all remember White Dudes for Harris? Yeah, I talked about it last week.
All of the leading vice presidential candidates, but here I am. Also, quick observation, they have Kid Rock, Kevin Sorbo, and a dolphin aficionado, and we have the Hulk, Samwise Gamgee, Luke Skywalker, and Mayor Pete just on this Zoom. That's pretty damn cool.
I'm sorry, did you say Hulk?
Enough was enough! And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother!
Oh, the real Hulk. Okay, I got it. Well, Tim Walz was there.
Thanks, Ross. Thanks for having me on. The anti-Tommy Tuberville, I guess. So it's.
Did somebody say Tommy Tuberville?
the anti-Tommy Tuberville, I guess. So it's good to see you. Mitch Landrieu, good to see you. Any place you're at, I'm here. JB Pritzker and this whole group. Following Josh Gad, I am now complete, Josh. This was it. I'm going to echo that message, though, that message of hope. My oldest daughter's name is Hope. And that's because my wife and I spent 7 years trying to get pregnant, needed fertility treatments, things like IVF, things that they would ban. And so once again, I keep talking about this idea. You're right. These guys are the anti-freedoms. I grew up in a small town, 400 people, 24 kids in the class, 12 cousins. And I hear J.D. Vance trying to talk about what a small town is. There's one golden rule in a small town. Those of you who are from a small town, mind your own damn business. We don't need it. I don't know who's asking for this crazy stuff that they're pushing. Who's asking to ban birth control? Who's asking to raise the price of insulin? I'm a Legion Club member, and none of the dudes there are asking to cut veterans benefits like Project 2025 does. So look, that's not where folks are at. I represented a rural district. Donald Trump won it by 15 points in 2016 when I won. Those are folks that want a fair shot. We need to point out to this. The reason rural America hurts is because robber barons like these guys have come in there. These are the guys that take money out of our public schools for private schools to give vouchers to people already going to private school. They undermine the basic social safety net that makes this country great. So when I hear you on here, I heard Josh talking about hope. That is exactly right. That's what we need. And then coupled with that, because my wife reminds me of this, she said, hope is the most powerful word in the universe, but it's not a damn plan. We need a plan to win, and that's what you guys are doing. That's what smashing that button does. That's what's calling. And again, this is preaching to the choir, but the choir needs to sing. The choir needs to sing. This is our moment. This is not just transformational for one election. This is transformational for several generations. But here's the thing that I take a responsibility for. We're not in this alone. The rest of the world needs us to be here. These guys throwing our NATO allies under the bus, the idea that they don't care what happens in the rest of the world, not addressing climate change that's going to impact communities that are less fortunate than anyone else. Those are the things it has to do. We have communities that are going to pay the price because we don't address it. Here's the great news. How often in 100 days do you get to change the trajectory of the world? How often in 100 days do you get to do something that's going to impact generations to come? And how often in the world do you make that bastard wake up afterwards and know that a black woman kicked his ass and sent him on the road?
Talk to him! You better talk to him!
And you know that's something that guy's going to have to live with for the rest of his life. So I got to tell all of you, please, please do what you can. Please talk. Look, I got Florida Man as a brother. We all got him in our families. But these are our neighbors and our relatives. And at heart, they're good people. They're not mean-spirited. They're not small. They're not petty like they hear on stage. They're angry. They're confused. They're frustrated. They feel like they got left behind sometimes. But we can get out there, reach out, make the case. And for one thing, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. Just do the damn work. So I got to tell you, when I see this, it lifts me up. I'm inspired. I see it. Again, anti-Tommy Tuberville.
Did somebody say Tommy Tuberville?
This is the first day of football. We're all in this. We're all undefeated. We got an opportunity on this. I want to be standing in that day in November when we're playing for the big one, and I'll take us. And again, keep hammering on these guys. This idea of calling them out for who they are, shrink them. Is he a danger to society? Yes. Is he a danger to women's health? Yes. Is he a danger to world peace? Yes. But don't give him more credit than he needs. He's just a strange, weird dude, as we've been saying. Pick that in the pace. Pick up the work. Do the work. Donate. Call. Talk to your neighbors. Let's win this thing. No regrets at the end of this. Thanks, folks.
Now, one thing I'm noticing listening to Tim Walz is his ability to take the fight to Donald Trump and hold his feet to the fire for the many things in which he said, and even worse, what he has done. And that's something that's been missing from the entire left wing, is the ability to prosecute the case against Trump. I especially like that he called him a robber baron. I like that. I ain't heard robber barons since the 80s. He did mention his daughter, Hope. By the way, this is the two of them at the Minnesota State Fair.
Hey, Minnesota, Governor Walz here, out at the State Fair with my daughter.
Hope.
Every year we as a family do something old and something new. I get to pick something, a classic, the old mill ride, to do that. And then Hope gets to pick something new,
I think we're gonna go do the slingshot.
which I don't know what it is, and they're keeping it from me. But then we're gonna go get some food, corn dog,
I'm vegetarian.
turkey then. And
Turkey's meat.
Not in Minnesota, turkey special. And we will go do some of those things and report back.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Woo! Oh my god! Yes! Oh my god! It keeps going.
Yes!
That was good. Good job, Dad.
Oh, thanks, Hope. All right, Minnesota, it's worth it. Woo. Wow, that is wild.
That was pretty cool, actually.
That is wild.
No, that would be good.
It was okay. It was so worth it. Good call.
It was good.
Thanks for talking me into it.
You're welcome.
Now I was curious to see what the reaction was, and we got it immediately as alt Twitter, or as they're calling it X, got hashtag Tampon Tim trending. Yes, in an election in which you are trying to woo female voters and convince them that you are not trying to infringe on their rights and bodily autonomy, Tampon Tim is what you want to go with. In an election where there's been rampant sexism directed at Kamala Harris and you have a woman running against Donald Trump, y'all decide to go with Tampon Tim. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. If it's one thing you can trust MAGA to do, it's going to step on their own tongues, especially when you threaten them to not be racist or sexist. Here was the official statement, by the way. Yes, they went with cows and rocks. So once again, robber baron Donald Trump and venture capitalist J.D. Vance, tell me again about how Tim Walz doesn't understand the Midwest. Please go headlong into that route of attack. Here, by the way, was my favorite from Trump's campaign secretary. Allow convicted felons to vote. Who's going to tell her? Huh? Who's going to tell her? Matter of fact, I just say, don't, it's just, can we get some footage of Donald Trump? I want to get Donald Trump's reaction when he read that, because I know he had nothing to do with it, because he has nothing to do with anything that comes out that looks coherent and which all the words are in the right place. So I need to get his reaction when he read. Can we get some footage of that? I need Donald Trump just on election day, just sitting at home on True Social, watching Fox News, practicing golfing in the back like he on house arrest. Like, this is what I need to see. But ultimately, I can't be sure how to react until I hear from CNN's Van Jones.
Do you think it was a little risky, though, Van, that she didn't go with Shapiro to kind of lock down Pennsylvania? I mean, yes, David Challenger was saying earlier, just because you pick him as your running mate doesn't mean you automatically win Pennsylvania. But I got to think it would have helped just a little bit.
Hey, listen, the conservatives, the right wing, the Republicans, they were chewing their fingernails down to the knuckle because they were afraid of a Josh Shapiro. They were afraid of a Mark Kelly. They're not as afraid of this new governor because they think they can define him. So here's the challenge you've got in this party. And people don't want to talk about it. We got to talk about it. On the one hand, you have a lot of young people who are concerned about Gaza. You have a lot of Muslims and Arabs and others. They have not felt seen by the Biden administration. You start hearing that genocide joke. That was building. And so those folks needed to have a candidate that they could feel comfortable with. This helps them in that regard. But you also have anti-Semitism that has gotten marbled into this party. You can be for the Palestinians without being an anti-Jewish bigot, but there are some anti-Jewish bigots out there. And there's some disquiet now, and there has to be. How much of what just happened is caving into some of these darker parts in the party? So that's going to have to get worked out.
Oh, Van Jones hates it? I'm in. I am in. There is no better way to decipher whether or not something is good for the left wing than Van Jones hates it. Let's go. He gonna cry in the car. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you, or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com.
The main issue.
Sir, 1 second. You just did it. You just did it again.
Of the United States.
Why do you insist on questioning her racial identity?
You want me to talk?
I want you to answer my question.
Yelling at George.
Meanwhile.
What is going on? What is going on?
Hi, welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. Now, let me first say, congratulations. I am so happy for Senator Tim Scott, who finally wed his right-on-time fiance. Sorry, somebody just had a little fun with Photoshop. That is crazy. That's ridiculous. Putting Lindsey Graham. That clearly should be Trump's face. No, these are the real photos from a real-life wedding involving Tim Scott.
What is going on? What is going on?
He even got the blessing of the love of his life. That's got to be awkward when the love of your life shows up to your wedding. Luckily, Tim Scott didn't have to worry about that because he did not bother to show up to Tim Scott's wedding. But he did send him that nice little note. He didn't give him the call up to be VP, mind you. That ain't coming no matter how many normal person things that you do. But tell the truth, Tim. You about to join the HOA, ain't you? I know you are. Yeah, I know you are. You are fully committed to this bit. I knew it. I seen the bowling shirt in the background when you made that fake Get Mad video.
I can't believe the hoax, this sham, this absolute injustice justice system. DA Bragg and the judge should be ashamed of themselves. This isn't just ridiculous. This actually erodes the confidence that Americans have in the justice system. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. But good news is coming. DA Bragg, hear me clearly. You cannot silence the American people. You cannot stop us from voting for change. Joe Biden's injustice, Joe Biden's two-tier injustice system, weaponizing the justice system of the United States of America against a political opponent, un-American. Joe Biden, you're fired. We the people stand with Donald Trump.
We all admire your commitment to this normal adult bit, but it's over, man. It's over. It's over, man. But you will always have the memories. Yeah, the memories of hanging with dudes at your wedding while your wife is in the corner. I need to know what kind of wedding photo was Trey Gowdy that fascinating? Were they really that fascinating? You just shoved the wife to the... You couldn't even pretend for the rest of the one day. On the bright side, I do think you won the shuffle off with Byron Donalds. I mean, well, technically you both lost to this guy.
Hey guys, JD Vance here in Radford, Virginia. I thought I'd take you behind the scenes a little bit. When you get to an event, they've got a ton of crap for you to drink and eat. You got 3 bottles of Diet Mountain Dew, about a dozen Snickers, a bag of chips. If I ate even half this stuff, of course, I'd balloon up like crazy. This is the energy that powers the presidential and vice presidential campaign. Of course, I'm honored to be supporting President Trump. I'm honored to be his running mate. If you want to help us, chip in $5, chip in $15 to get the message out and to get people to the polls. This election is so important. Your resources help us do the things we need to win it.
A little bit different here. You've been criticized as being a little too serious, maybe angry sometimes. What makes you smile? What makes you happy?
Well, I smile at a lot of things, including bogus questions from the media, man. And daughter who were just enjoying their day here in Shelby Township, and you had an illegal alien plow into them and kill this innocent mother and daughter.
Sorry, I just can't. You know, if you actually identified as a black person, you actually would have a great case for discrimination. You 1,000% would. I mean, the fact that you were the first senator from the South since Reconstruction, all the things that you have in your rearview mirror as a legislator to get passed over for J.D. Vance.
And we know the truth, by the way, that our police are heroes and we're always going to have their back. A vote for Donald Trump is a vote to back the blue.
Vance writes, quote, I hate the police. Given the number of negative experiences I've had in the past few years, I can't imagine what a black guy goes through.
Like literally just dropped in and snatched the VP. See, this is why we advocate for DEI. You know that DEI, that thing that you have sworn yourself against? Yeah, this actually would have helped you in this particular case. But that's just crazy talk, because we all know you don't identify as a black person. Plus, racism is over, right?
You would be the first black Republican VP on the ticket. How do you feel?
Well, I think it's exciting, no matter the outcome. It's the evolution of the Southern heart that we see on display. And we Southerners get so little credit for the progress we've made. The whole notion of judging a person on the content of their character, not the color of their skin, has happened. It's not going to happen. It's not around the corner. It's in the rearview mirror. We are living Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream.
Somebody told a lie one day.
Besides, you're doing way better than Byron.
Why is former President Trump questioning the vice president's racial identity?
Well, first, George, in Chicago, he was responding to a question from, I believe, Rachel Scott. Like, this is really a phony controversy. I don't really care. Most people don't.
Byron, you really gonna sit up there and make excuses for the blatant racism? I would be shocked, except for the fact that I've been paying attention to everything else you've been saying, so I'm not at all shocked. And just imagine how far you have fallen for me to not be shocked at a black man making excuses for racism.
But if we're going to be accurate, when Kamala Harris went into the United States Senate, it was AP that said she was the first Indian American United States Senator. It was actually played up a lot when she came into the Senate. Now she's running nationally. Obviously, the campaign has shifted. They're talking much more about her father's heritage and her black identity.
Bro, you have a biracial family and one that you worked pretty hard for. You had to hustle your ex-wife for that biracial family. You're not even going to protect them in this whole debate?
It doesn't really matter. The president mentioned it. What he also talks about far more frequently is the fact that Kamala Harris is the person who created this massive inflation, which is destroying black families, white families, Hispanic families. It's her failure as borders are, that has left our southern border wide open, more than 10 million illegal immigrants coming into our country, record fentanyl coming into our country, which has killed more Americans than at any other point in the history of our country with respect specifically to fentanyl, and the fact that she and Joe Biden have unleashed one of the worst foreign policies in the history of our country that has us on the verge of World War III. That is Kamala Harris's record. President Trump talks about that frequently, but yes, he did mention it in Chicago in response to a question from Rachel Scott.
And you just repeated the slur again. If it doesn't matter, why do you all keep questioning her identity? She's always identified as a black woman. She is biracial. She has a Jamaican father and an Indian mother. She's always identified as both. Why are you questioning that?
Ain't you Jamaican too? You are Jamaican as well. Don't make me get to calling them people. Lord of mercy. Where you picnic in? Where you picnic in? Where your girl them? I have no idea what that means. Hey, Jamaica, how about that Noah Lyles? Hey, hey!
And you just repeated the slur again. If it doesn't matter, why do you all keep questioning her identity? She's always identified as a black woman. She is biracial. She has a Jamaican father and an Indian mother. She's always identified as both. Why are you questioning that?
Well, George, first of all, this is something that's actually a conversation throughout social media right now. There are a lot of people who are trying to figure this out. But again, that's a side issue, not the main issue.
You know what? I'm through. I'm going to bring in my goon, George Stephanopoulos, to handle you.
The main issue.
Sir, 1 second. You just did it. You just did it again.
Of the United States.
Why do you insist on questioning her racial identity?
You want me to talk?
I want you to answer my question.
George, now that you're done yelling at me, let me answer. He talked about it on the stage yesterday in Atlanta for, 2 minutes? He spent more than 35, 40 minutes going after her record, talking about how radical of a senator that she was. She was the most liberal senator in the United States, in the United States Senate. That is a fact. He talked about the job that she did as vice president of the United States, a job, I will add, which has been a failure for the American people. I know you guys like to glom on to this that he talks about in jest or in a serious manner for about a minute or so.
Yeah, he also blamed the equipment, which for a media association might as well be a slur. Like he basically called them jungle bunnies. He basically called them jungle bunnies.
But what you do not cover is the litany of failures of Kamala Harris. That's what you're not covering, George.
So questioning somebody's racial identity for a couple minutes is okay?
George, I'm going to tell you again, he brought it up. AP is the one that wrote the headline when she first came in to the United States Senate. Didn't talk about her being black, talked about her being the first Indian American senator. AP brought that up. I mean, George, we could have this conversation for the entire segment, but none of this matters to the American people. What matters to the American people is, are we going to have the same policies of the Biden-Harris administration that has been destructive of the American people, or are we going to have the policies of the Trump administration, which put America first, had low inflation, prosperous Americans, no matter your race, no matter your color, no matter your creed, and a foreign policy that kept America safe? Those are the facts that truly matter, because this issue is going to come and go. The lives of the American people is what's going to remain, and that's what matters more than anything else.
If it doesn't matter, I don't understand why you keep on repeating it, why the president keeps on repeating it, why those introducing the president yesterday
George,
keep on repeating it.
I'm not the one who keeps repeating it. George, you're the one that's bringing it up now. That's you.
You've done it.
I understand why
sir,
you've done it up.
You've done it 3 times. Every single answer
George,
you gave me. Now let me finish, sir.
George,
every single answer you gave, you repeated the slur.
Asked me, George. That's why I'm pushing back on you now. George, you asked me the question 3 times. I responded, but I'm.
And every single time you repeat the slur. That is exactly my point. You simply can't say that it's wrong.
George, so then what you're saying, and I want to get off this topic because it's not the only thing that's going on. But George, now you're saying that AP is the one that slurred Kamala Harris, because those are the facts. You can go to the internet and look at the clips, George, if you want to, or we can talk about this now. I prefer to talk about the future of our country, because the American people are struggling. The American people do need serious policy decisions to be made, and they need serious leadership on the world stage. Kamala Harris has not proven that she can do that. Donald J. Trump has proven that he can do that.
AP did not say that Kamala Harris is not black. She is biracial. She is Indian. She is black. You continue to repeat the fact that you continue to repeat the slur. I don't understand why you and the president do it, but it's clear you're not going to say that it's wrong. And you've now established that for our audience. Trump also said at the convention that he would pardon January 6 rioters.
Everybody look for themselves. Let's move on.
I've already said that. Go ahead.
Internet, everybody. Let's move on. There we go.
So, go on and repeat the slurs again.
Man, I ain't seen a beat down that bad since your ex-wife started talking to the press. He told me he was from Jamaica and he had a Jamaican accent and he was cute. Then the next time I saw him, the Jamaican accent was gone and he said he was from New York. Now, a lot of us like to reinvent ourselves when we decide to go to college or just when we go out of town in general. But a whole accent that you clearly weren't very committed to. I mean, what, you thought you would just give it 2 weeks? Hall actually addressed Donald's criminal charges for marijuana possession with intent to distribute and bribery, as well as his dramatic conversion to evangelical Christianity. Oh yeah. Oh, y'all didn't know Byron had charges? Yeah, Byron got charges. It did not endear him to the black community. No. I guess that's a specifically Trump thing. The relationship was serious, but Hall said sometime around Christmas 2002, Donalds came to her with a startling proposition. He wanted to rekindle their relationship. He said, Erica and I have split up and I want to give it another chance. I want my wife back. But a short time later, after he made a short trip to Naples, Donalds did another sharp U-turn, telling Hall they needed a divorce as soon as possible. Long story short, turned out Erica was pregnant and they had to hurry up and get married. Oh boy, nothing like a whole shotgun wedding and finding out after the fact that it was in fact a shotgun wedding, but needed a divorce to precipitate the shotgun wedding. Oh man, has anybody got any ring cam footage or any surveillance footage of the Donalds after this came out? The link is in the description. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com. I get it. I'm not a Republican, but you know what? Go ahead and sign me up, because I just need away from them too. Hi, welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. Now, first, we had Blacks for Trump.
I'm here to support President Trump. You want to know why I'm here to support President Trump? Because they done did black men like this for decades. Make up charges and put them, so I know Trump is innocent. I support Trump against this corrupt, two-tiered justice system.
No. I said blacks for Trump. Then there was white guys for Harris.
And the other side, they try and take everything that's good about us and demean it. Kamala Harris smiles. She laughs. She dances. She has joy. She's alive. And they try and ridicule her for that. And they try and undermine us for that. This is a serious person who can prosecute a tough case against people when she's in the Senate. Those are some of the most exciting moments during that awful time, was watching this senator take them to task.
Rudy. Well, everybody didn't handle that so well.
Like, it just makes no sense. And what if we had black dudes, black brothers for Trump? Well, we'd all lose our blackness as soon as we showed up for the meeting. So, I mean, or what if we had white guys for, I don't know, Nazism? You know, like, where do you draw the line?
Well, naturally, as anybody could have predicted, and by anybody, I mean anybody, Nikki Haley.
If he goes up in a general election, we will have a female president of the United States. It will either be me or it will be Kamala Harris.
Mitt Romney.
I will not be voting for former President Trump.
Liz Cheney. Even Dick Cheney. We now have Republicans for Harris.
This is huge. Kamala Harris's campaign just launched a group called Republicans for Harris in the campaign's efforts to try to win over Republican voters that were put off by Donald Trump's presidency. According to the Harris campaign, they are specifically targeting GOP voters that were supporting Nikki Haley over Donald Trump, and they're going to use well-known Republicans to attend events and rallies for Harris to communicate the message to other Republican voters.
It's about time. I mean, how crazy does it have to get? The group includes ex-Trump White House officials Stephanie Grisham and Olivia Troy, the security advisor to Mike Pence. And I could see how the security advisor to Mike Pence might have some issues.
This launched today. It's an initiative to grow this bipartisan coalition to support Kamala Harris and get her to victory. I think a lot of us lean conservative, as you know, and I think what is happening here with the Republican Party, we believe is dangerous and extreme. And I think we need to get back to the values of, observing the rule of law, of standing with our international allies and actually providing true leadership to the world, which is something that Kamala Harris has exhibited during the Biden administration.
I'm sorry, does that say Harris for president on your wall? Wow. They move fast. They move fast. That's pretty good.
At the end of the day, we need to all take a stand against the potential that this man could come back into office. I think this is extremely dangerous. And look, I think the coalition will grow. I'm having conversations with Republican voters who privately will tell me that they're very concerned. They're horrified about what's happening in the Republican Party.
Now, the group that's at least open to revealing themselves includes former Secretaries Chuck Hagel and Ray LaHood, former Governors Jim Edgar, Bill Weld, and Christine Todd Whitman, former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan, former members of Congress Rod Chandler, Tom Coleman, Dave Emory, Wayne Gilchrist, Jim Greenwood, John LaBoutier, Susan Molinari, Jack Quinn, Jennifer Riggleman, Claudine Schneider, Christopher Shays, Peter Smith, Alan Steelman, David Trott, and Joe Walsh. Not to mention Mesa, Arizona Mayor John Giles, former GOP state chair and state senator Chris Vance, Reed Howard of Young Republicans for Harris, former RNC delegate Rena Shah, and a whole lot more. By the way, I did mention former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan. Yeah, he wanted to smoke.
He's got lots of problems and lots of constituencies that don't like him and really genuinely want an excuse to not vote for him. I think his lies and his hateful attitude is really starting to serve as snake venom to that 10% that are going to actually care and matter. I mean, I can't personally support Donald Trump for a number of reasons, but one of them is because he instigated death threats against my wife and my kids and did nothing about it. I had armed guards outside these windows waiting for somebody to try to attack me, not because they were a terrorist, but because they were a Republican that believed in his lies.
This is now starting to not be Donald Trump's problem. This is starting to be the Republican Party's problem. We have to call him out for what he is. He's a felonious thug who walks down the street and throws sucker punches at people like Brian Kemp, like African-American journalists, like John McCain, and the list goes on and on and on again. And the Republican Party is content sitting across the street watching it happen and not calling him out, not jumping into that fight and saying, you are wrong for us.
We're either going to, as Republicans, take our medicine and realize the election wasn't rigged. Donald Trump was the worst candidate ever in the history of the party, even worse than Herschel Walker.
But I also mentioned Adam Kinzinger. He definitely wanted to smoke.
Today, you announced you are endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris for president, and you joined a number of fellow Republicans to kick off Republicans for Harris. Tell us why.
Well, I mean, it's really easy. Look, if you're a conservative, a real conservative that believes in things like the Constitution, the principles this country was founded on, I mean, you can disagree with Kamala Harris on policy issues, but really the threat that's really near to us is, does democracy survive? And I don't mean that like esoterically or to be like dramatic, but when you think of the last election and the fact that Donald Trump convinced a significant amount of the country that trusted him, that put their faith in him, that an election was stolen when it wasn't stolen. When you convince people that the system doesn't work and that your voice isn't heard, you do real damage to self-governance. It's really hard to self-govern if a significant amount of the country believes that their voice isn't heard, their vote doesn't count. So in my mind, there's no doubt Donald Trump is a clear threat to the future of democracy, the future faith of democracy. And Kamala Harris has made it clear that she supports it even when we disagree on things. That's what democracy is about. It's about disagreeing. And also, by the way, another big thing, she supports Ukraine's victory against Russia. And Donald Trump has been very clear that he instead admires Russia. So that's why.
Now, here's the part where I have to ask myself, what is Black MAGA thinking right now? When you watch them call every black person a DEI hire, when you see the level of sexism that they are directing towards Kamala Harris, I believe he even is calling her Kamabla now at this particular point in time. The fact that they just referred to the vice president and presumptive Democratic nominee as Kamala, you have all this going on. I'm wondering, what are the mental gymnastics that the Michaela Montgomerys and Byron Donalds of the world are undergoing right now? It's got to look something like Simone Biles' vault. It really has to. By the way, while we're talking about Michaela Montgomery, I just did a whole piece dragging her performance when Trump was in Atlanta. Make sure you check that out. The link will be in the description. Byron Donalds gets dragged every other week, but we have one on him this week as well. Don't worry about that. I really learned a whole lot listening to longtime Republican Sophia Nelson.
I think the vice president got it right the other day when she spoke at the funeral of our soror, Sheila Jackson Lee, when she said, America deserves better. This is the year of our Lord 2024. The fact that a presidential candidate of a major party would go to NABJ and in front of an entire black audience of journalists and demean the sitting black female vice president, the first woman vice president in the history of the country. And, you know, Fred, I wrote about this in my Atlanta Journal article this past week about the one-drop rule. And clearly a lot of people in this country aren't familiar with what that means, and you've got to go back and learn a little history. This country was set up in a way that was slavery and then post-slavery Reconstruction into Jim Crow, that one drop of black blood in you identified you as black. And Kamala Harris has been clear her entire life who she is. She went to Howard. She pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. You can't get any blacker than that, to be real honest with you. So I don't know what this nonsense is about, but I think she's correct that the country deserves better from the nominee of the Republican Party than this racist, misogynist line of attack.
A couple takeaways. She highlighted something that I often found odd. Instead of trying to actively win over voters and not just pretending like, hey, I got a mugshot, I got some shoes, how about that for the black community? Instead of actually trying to win over voters or appealing to different demographics, you try and restrict voting. Like you literally trying to stop a process that is moving away from you. This is very much like throwing a Band-Aid on a bullet wound and continuing to eat your meal at the Waffle House. I don't understand. What is the long-term prognosis for this GOP?
Campaigns are about addition, not subtraction. Yes, it gets his base excited. Yes, it coalesces his base, but he's turning off independents. He's turning off moderate Republicans. Republicans for Harris launched today, 40,000 people on social media. They're going to have a call. There is a movement for Vice President Harris that is multi-generational, multicultural, and this country, as you know, in just, 5 years will be majority minority. So I don't know what Republicans are doing. They're subtracting, they're not adding.
Secondly, I have to ask, if you are entrenched in MAGA land, how do you process the litany of people that have been close to Trump that have turned away from him for the 2024 election? Like, how do you process that? Because they actually know him. They actually have worked with him. You just have a flag, okay? And they, by and large, in humongous numbers, have told you he ain't shit. So how exactly are you continuing to legitimize your support? Like, you see a bunch of people running away from somewhere that you are approaching, you don't get concerned? You don't get concerned as you continue to take steps towards something that everybody is fleeing from? That's something they don't have to worry about when it comes to us. Now, they don't have to worry about that because all I need is 2.3 people. I see 2.3 people running that way. It's 3.3 people running that way. That's all I need to know. Now that we've heard from the professionals, what are the people talking about?
My name is Jimmy. I'm a white, heterosexual, 60-year-old male. I drive a Ford F-350. I have an American flag tattooed on my arm. Did not go to college. I was a Republican for 34 years. Cast my first vote for Ronald Reagan. And I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
My favorite part of that is that he had to mention that he was heterosexual and he drove an F-150. He knew, because he's been on those message boards. He's been on alt Twitter. He knows exactly their plan of attack. And he was like, I'm gonna nip that at the bud. I'm gonna nip that at the bud. No, they not coming for me like that. 8 out of 10.
I'm a 56-year-old white gun-owning country boy. And if Kamala Harris thinks she can get my vote, well, she'd be right. Because I'm also a grandfather. We failed to leave my kids' generation a better world. And now I worry not just about the kind of world we'll leave my grandkids, but what kind of country will we leave them? That other guy, I'm also a veteran from a long line of veterans. And he's just not safe. So yeah, I'll be voting for Kamala Harris because she wants to move us forward.
Fantastic mentioning the gun owning, fantastic cowboy hat. Also, I think I heard some wind blowing, so it sounds like you're in rural America. That is very authentic. Solid points about the generation and thinking about the kind of country that you're passing to the next generation. And as a veteran, I was wondering why veterans generally don't have more issue with Trump and his history. I have to take some points away though. Were those solar panels? Were those solar panels? Okay, yeah, no, because those should be oil drums right there. Those should either be oil drums or an inoperable vehicle. That's right there. So I got to take some points away. 7 out of 10.
So let me get this straight. Conservatives told us that George Floyd was no martyr because he was a convicted felon, criminal drug addict who robbed a pregnant woman. But Trump is your guy, the same guy who is a 34-time convicted felon, liable for the rape of E. Jean Carroll, paid hush money to a stripper, and on the Epstein flight logs. So when it's a wealthy white billionaire, he is the victim. But when it's a poor black person, he needs to accept personal accountability and pull himself up by the bootstraps. Got it.
Now, I was a little distracted by the flowers and by the cat, but the point that you made was solid. I mean, that was church. I mean, that was church. The arguments they made with George Floyd and the arguments with Donald Trump, perfectly done. You spoke very clearly. You also have very strong facial hair. You kind of look like a created character on a video game. 8 out of 10.
I am Rosario Marin, the first and only immigrant woman to be Treasurer of the United States. I have been a Republican since 1984 when I had the great privilege to vote for Ronald Reagan. I have been a delegate to 5 Republican conventions. But when Trump took over the party, I couldn't vote for him. I am sick and tired of listening to all the insults he has levied against such an accomplished woman as our vice president. I don't agree with Kamala Harris on every policy issue, but I am deeply offended that Trump, his campaign, or those Republicans that support him will call her dumb, evil, or a DEI hire. This November, this Republican will cast her vote for Kamala Harris, and I ask you to do the same.
Hey, blacks for Trump. Yeah, she talking to y'all. Yeah, she talking, she wanna holler at, she talking to y'all. Yeah, she called y'all all out. Yeah, it was an animal. It was an animal. Start with a C. 9 out of 10.
I am voting for Vice President Harris for, among other reasons, the fact that she understands that injecting disinfectant and bringing UV light into the human body is not a valid course of treatment for COVID. She knows that water regulations do not cause low water pressure in toilets and showers, and she understands that the noise from windmill turbines does not cause cancer. She is very well aware of the fact that the British did not control American airports during the Revolutionary War and that Kofifi is not a word. She does not believe that detonating nuclear warheads inside of a hurricane is a valid means of stopping the hurricane. She understands that by being able to memorize and then repeat back the 5 words person, woman, man, camera, and TV is not proof of mental acuity. She does not believe that the president's nuclear button has to be much bigger and more powerful than Kim Jong-un's. She does not believe that microwaves are used as cameras to spy on political opponents. She does not believe that fathers should look at their daughters and then talk publicly about how they want to date them. And she did not send Jeffrey Epstein voicemails at 3 a.m. And finally, I am voting for Vice President Harris because she is not old and decrepit, racist, misogynistic, or weird. And I want a president who is not a convicted felon, not been found liable for committing fraud or for defaming the woman that he raped. So, that good enough for you, or should I listen more?
That was absolutely perfect. That is a 10 out of 10. That was amazing. I wouldn't change anything about that. I do wonder though, I mean, people have signed up in droves for this, like I've been waiting for them to do, but I gotta wonder because he had a whole lot of material. What makes y'all want to flee MAGA so bad?
When it came out, it was Corona, right? Corona. Corona is 6 letters. When you use gematria and you say A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, and you put Corona lined out at 666. So that's 666. But we found that out. So they're saying the white wing crazies found it out. So they changed it to COVID-19, which is C. What is this? C, right?
The C, yeah.
Ovid, look it up. Ovid means sheep. 19, military code for surrender. C, sheep, surrender.
Oh, I get it. I get it. I'm not a Republican, but you know what? Go ahead and sign me up because I just need away from them too. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you or you just want to send me a note because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com. A group of people harassing a black man after a white man apparently made racist comments to him in Virginia City, Nevada during the opening day of a vintage car show. I guess he wanted to act in line with the times. Welcome to Racist of the Week, where we expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the page and definitely leave me any possible suggestions for nominees in the comments. Also, if you haven't checked out our Races of the Month compilation for July, make sure you check that out. The link is in the description. Let's go to Virginia City, Nevada. Quick question. Why is there a Dennis Rodman jersey on my couch? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you heard Nevada and one of the first things that crossed your mind was Dennis Rodman leaving to go to Vegas in the middle of the finals, congratulations, we basically grew up together. And I think that mutual experience probably ruined relationships for us. Today's nominee Gary Miller, Janice Miller, and Tiffany Miller. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. A video posted to TikTok went viral over last weekend showing a group of people harassing a black man after a white man apparently made racist comments to him in Virginia City, Nevada during the opening day of a vintage car show. I guess he wanted to act in line with the times. Yeah, I got this 54 Mustang, so that leaves me free to drop ends. No, boy, you can't come in here. Yeah, it's 1954 in this car. The video was filmed by Ricky Johnson, who goes by Uncle Ricky on TikTok, who was in Virginia City on Friday asking people to sign a petition to get an issue on the November ballot. He approached a white man who verbally harassed Johnson with racist comments and said there was a, quote, hanging tree in the backyard for people who looked like him.
Keep talking. And where the tree at to hang people at? Where is that? Where is the hanging tree at?
In your backyard.
I'm doing a job, and I did not disrespect you, not once.
Oh, man, come on, get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
You, man, you know what? Fuck you, and I'm not leaving. Make me leave, motherfucker, because I can't take...
I don't make trash, I burn it.
I thought you said you had a job. I got a job. Well, go do it. Man, fuck you. You do it.
Oh, hey.
Just go do your job. You do your job.
Okay, first of all, I definitely need to address the lack of any kind of response by all of the people there. Forget that 3 people were arrested. A lot more people need to be identified because clearly this kind of thing has been normalized to the point where somebody will come up to him and tell you, don't you have a job? Why don't you go do it? Okay, so you won't do your job as a decent human being and call out and stamp out racism. That's too much to ask, but I'm just supposed to move along.
Say fuck you to everybody.
He said fuck me because I can say fuck you too. What the fuck you mean? He's being fucking racist to me, man. Get the fuck out of my face. Get the fuck out of my face. Who the fuck are you? I don't give a fuck. Fuck you too. The fuck?
That's the only license.
How you doing?
He seems to know.
Are you along with them?
Yes, he is.
Okay, but why is he being fucking racist to me, talking about there's a fucking hanging tree down there? Are you along with that? Are you down with that as well, like him?
He's my dad, first off.
Don't fucking touch me. Don't touch me. I'm not on your property. Don't touch me. Don't fucking touch me. Don't fucking touch me. Do y'all see this shit?
I'm not saying nothing. I'm telling you to get off my property.
Fuck you. Now what? Let's do it. Come on, let's go. Slap me. Hit me. I want you to. I want you to hit me.
I love you. You're my brother.
No, I'm not your brother. Don't touch me.
She is such a beautiful MAGA because what we see right here is a perfect example of the kind of Christian nationalism that the Heritage Foundation is trying to ingrain in our nation. The kind of Christianity that would tell you, I love you, you're my brother, while I try and escort you out and make it your fault that he dropped slurs. That kind of Christianity. In other words, gaslighting.
This is fucking racist to the most. You're wrong. You're wrong. You get out of my face. I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing anything to anybody. Y'all gonna kill me?
And here comes the next generation telling us about the history of this town. Oh, okay. I didn't realize because it had once been racist, it gets to continue to be racist. Is that what it is? Like their racism was grandfathered in? Okay, if we're going by the history of the town definitely predates white people. So what y'all doing?
Tell me, do it. You're my brother. Do y'all see? Don't touch me. I love you, baby. Are y'all gonna allow this shit to happen, this racist stuff? No, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Baby, why are you so upset?
Don't touch me. Why are you touching me, ma'am?
Okay, come on.
This is crazy.
Calm down. You're causing a big old fuss.
Because I didn't do anything to anyone.
Honey, I know, honey. Jesus loves you. It's okay.
Do y'all see this at the most?
Jesus loves him. He just don't get it right now. Calm down.
Can you let me go if I can leave, please, ma'am? But but you're steady touching me.
Honey, I
love you, baby.
You're steady touching me, ma'am. This is assault.
Mama? Do you have a mama?
This is an assault.
Do you have a mama?
This is.
Do you have a mama?
Ma'am, can you
Do you
leave
have
me?
a dad? What are you doing here?
I'm doing a job.
Well,
and I'm not bothering anyone.
Well, you are now. You got everybody all upset.
But you're touching me. Don't touch me, ma'am.
I can't. I can't with the level of gaslighting. I just, do you have a mama? Do you have a daddy? Yeah, who would also be pretty upset at somebody calling me trash and referencing a hanging tree. Do you have a husband? Because you might want to find him and go check him. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I guess that's too much to ask for a Christian.
You're touching me. I have to call the police. That's assault.
I'm taking you. He's right here. Let's go.
Don't touch me. You don't touch me.
I'm not, baby.
Can you leave me alone? Y'all gonna allow this shit to happen like nobody cares? Nobody see this racial shit going on?
Honey, the sheriff's right here. You can tell him all you want.
Your dad just said there's a hanging tree for like me. What does that mean? What does that mean? And I did not disrespect your dad. I asked him nicely, excuse me, sir, are you a registered voter? He said no. I said thank you. And then he turned around and said there's a hanging tree down the road for like me. That's exactly what the fuck he said. And all of them ganged up on me. I have it on video.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
And everybody is going along with that shit.
Are you okay?
No.
What do you need right now?
Look, I can show you the video.
It's okay.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
And all of them just ganged up on me.
It's okay. You're all right. You're all right.
Now, the overt racism is one thing. Unfortunately, we cannot stamp out knucklehead from our society, or we would not be faced with this election with these two choices. There's going to be knuckleheads in our society. It is the reaction to it. You want to hit him first, or should I? You got it? Okay. All right, you got it.
People are canceling Firehouse Saloon in Virginia City, Nevada for being racist towards a man.
What happened?
Basically, an African-American male was doing his job. Then a random man started making racist remarks talking about hanging him from a tree.
Horrible.
Oh, and guess what? Other people nearby started jumping in and being racist towards him. This was all on video, but the business said they had no idea this was happening.
I mean, if it was happening right in front of their business, I think it's clear as day they knew the people in front and did allow this type of behavior all the time.
Why would a business be responsible for them? How would they know?
Because why did no one around try to stop them? Why was everybody joining in? And
Are you implying that the reason the people were so comfortable being racist is because that entire area is like that? What if they really didn't know?
There was actually a Facebook post that the owner of that place
was a good guy.
Threw a party for those two people that were being racist to that guy in the video.
Okay, but he didn't actually say anything himself. Even though he clearly allowed the behavior to happen. He posted to Facebook he doesn't allow that type of behavior.
Okay, but I think it's even sadder that one of the guys had a MAGA hat on. Good. And then when his wife came out, or whoever the girl was throwing this Christian rhetoric at him, gaslighting, being racist to him, and assaulting him.
Now, Firehouse Saloon, where this all took place, tried to distance themselves from the event, after it went viral. It didn't work. Not where your employees are seen wearing nooses to work, and there's ample documentation that you, in fact, know these people well.
We have an update on the racists in Virginia City, Nevada, and I've got a bunch of updates for this. First of all, Virginia City itself responded and said they do not tolerate any form of racism. The sheriff's department of that county responded and we also are against racism, and we are opening an investigation into the Millers that I identified. The only issue I have with that is that in the video, the Millers seem to be, pretty familiar with the sheriff's department. In fact, I think they were on site and present while this was happening and didn't do anything. Furthermore, I was looking into the history of the sheriff's department, and their previous sheriff, his last name was Miller. I don't know if there's a relation, but he was sued for calling his previous employee an N-word lover just because he was a fan of Barack Obama.
I just got to stop us right here and think about the thought process that would accuse somebody of being an N-lover because they support the man who won the national popular vote twice. That's a lot of N-lovers. In fact, let me tell you, once we are the majority, okay, once N-lovers are the majority, then that becomes normal. Then they just become the normal people, and you become an N hater. Yeah, you become an N hater. This is the default setting is the in lover at this point in time. You know, I dream that one day I'm gonna do a Racist of the Week where when the authorities come in and do the right thing, we won't also have to accept them being racist as well.
Also, Firehouse Saloon spoke up and said, we have no relation to these people. They do not work for us. We don't know them. They just wear our clothes and hang out in front of a shop. Got no idea who they are whatsoever. In fact, they even referred to one of them as Lady in the Shirt. Except that they do know them. They know them very well. They know them extremely well. In fact, they even go as far as calling him a very close friend. They're the ones who introduced them to their community in Virginia City. What do you mean you don't know them? They're your landlords. Let's talk a little more about Firehouse Saloon and how desperate they are to save their image. Because I don't think they're trying hard enough. Have you seen your own bartender? It's a different man named Gary. But check out his pin. You guys just let him wear that at work? That's totally cool. Yeah, so when you say you allow all people into your establishment, you mean all people. People wearing hoods, anyone. I know this whole situation has us heated, so here are a couple funny things we can laugh at about the Millers. First of all, someone changed Wikipedia and wrote this under the description of Virginia City, Nevada. And number two, this is my favorite. Janice Miller, Gary's wife, who is, shooing the man away and saying horrible things like Jesus loves you and being patronizing and stuff. In a desperate attempt to delete her Facebook account because she's getting a barrage of comments right now, she instead made her profile picture the directions on how to delete your Facebook picture. And this is real. It's up right now. And by the way, this is not a screenshot. I misspoke. This is not a screenshot of the instructions. This is somebody who took a picture of another computer screen. You can see in the in the quality of the photo. It's not a screenshot. She took a picture of the instructions and made that her profile photo. And went about her day going, oh, good thing I deleted that Facebook earlier today.
And the former owners of the Firehouse Saloon put out a statement, and they didn't get their back at all. But there were some comments on social media disputing that this isn't just a normal occurrence in Virginia City, Nevada. But as always happens, they were indeed identified. Now, this whole encounter occurred on opening night of Hot August Nights, an annual vintage car show that takes place in the Reno-Sparks metropolitan area. Social media identified the white man in the video as Gary Miller. His identity was confirmed by multiple local news outlets, including the Reno Gazette-Journal, who reported that Miller and other individuals who harassed Johnson have been permanently banned from Hot August Nights. That is right. You want to act like 1954, you do it at home, where it's clearly still 1954. We're not taking your vintage cars. But wait, there's more. Gary Miller faces a charge of violation of breach of peace. Janice Miller faces a charge of battery. And Tiffany Miller faces a charge of obstructing and delaying a peace officer, according to Story County Sheriff's Office. The office obtained warrants for Gary, Janice, and Tiffany following the incident, and they were later arrested and booked into the Story County Detention Center. Can we charge all the passersby with just being Bamas? Can we do that? Is Bama in charge? It should be. I tell you, it should be. The sheriff's office said it's continuing to look at all the information that was presented and all the information preceding the initial video recording and actions of all parties and witnesses leading to the altercation. Nevada Governor Joe Lombardo took to alt-right Twitter saying, I'm concerned and disappointed by this incident in Virginia City this weekend. Racism and hate have no place in Nevada. This behavior must be condemned in the strongest terms possible. We take pride in our rich, diverse history and will always be a place where all are welcome. Well, I don't know about all. I definitely don't know about all. And I'm like, why were they so upset? You know what I think it was? I think it was the 1 year anniversary of Montgomery Brawl. That's what it is. It was the 1 year anniversary of Montgomery Brawl. They went on Instagram and they saw all the chair memes, and all of a sudden they decided to take it out on the one black person they saw, because I didn't see nobody else in the video. There was nobody else in the video. Shout out to him for capturing that and generally keeping his composure, because I can't imagine how helpless he might have felt when he realized there were not only no other black people, but also no human beings available. Congratulations, Gary Miller, Janice Miller, and Tiffany Miller. You are our racists of the week. But on the bright side, you can always get into politics. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racists of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you, or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com. Do you have anything, literally anything, to say about Kamala Harris that isn't racism or sexism?
Yeah, and then there's the DEI press secretary telling you that the DEI vice president is the future of the party here. And so the future looks kind of dim for the Democrats here, but this is no shocker either. Kamala Harris, she's the original Haktua girl. That's the way she got where she is. And the party's going downhill if it's in her hands.
That was tough.
How do you do both? Welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. MAGA, you still haven't responded to my note about Byron Donalds or Candace Owens. Are y'all all right?
Mr. President, Kamala Harris's father is Jamaican American, and she went to a historically black college. How is she only recently deciding to be black?
Well, you'll have to ask her that question because she's the one that said it. I didn't say it. So you'll have to ask her. And I very much appreciate that question, but you'll have to ask her. But I've known her for a long time. I actually contributed to her campaign a long time ago because I was a developer. I contributed to lots of campaigns of Democrats, Republicans, and some were liberal and some were conservative. But you'll have to ask her about that.
Yeah, that whole thing is not going well, especially since he refuses to actually debate her and make his point to her face. See, the thing is, he did this whole thing already. Yeah, with Obama. Yeah, it sounded desperate. I did a whole video about it. Do y'all have anything else?
You're being logical. Stop it, all right? She's a DEI hire, right? She's a woman. She's colored, therefore she's got to be good.
There's a lot at stake, plus the progressive movement. They are this close to locking this thing in. They have opened the borders. They've changed the entire culture of this country. If you look at the cities, it's almost over. If they can drag him across the finish line and install Kamala, we have a DEI presidency that they can celebrate for the rest of the administration.
That's a whole lot of DEI. And I get that that's a good first instinct because it's worked so well in the past to scare people about the dangers of brown. But you're trying to attract casuals in 2024, and they need you to couch your racism a little bit better than you have been. Because it looks really, really bad, especially considering that your candidate, Donald Trump, yeah, he actually supported her in the past. And two, because he is Donald Trump. Yes, you are saying that somebody is unqualified while running a felon with a whole laundry list of lawsuits, bankruptcies, and divorces behind him. Not to mention being caught on 4K multiple times saying things that would get the rest of us locked up.
Grab him by the pussy.
And also your vice president is JD Vance. I hate to be a stickler for the rules. I don't know if you read the terms and conditions, but it said if the vice president on your ticket is there because he wrote a book, you cannot call somebody unqualified. I hate to break it to you.
She said a couple of days ago that I showed no loyalty to the United States, that I have no loyalty to the United States. Well, you know, I don't know Kamala. I served in the United States Marine Corps and I built a business. What the hell have you done other than collect a government check for the past 20 years?
Now, he didn't actually say DEI, but it's still racism. Yeah, JD, he hasn't been listening. Clearly to anything.
Well, I think she's one of the weakest candidates I've ever seen in the history of our country. I mean, intellectually, just really kind of the bottom of the barrel. And from the standpoint of just who she is and the policies, the positions that she's taken, her failure to do anything in terms of the border, that sort of thing, I think it's just a failure from top to bottom. I think she was a DEI hire, and I think that that's what we're seeing. And I just don't think that they have anybody else. I just think that they're in real disarray.
See, Harriet Hagman, you don't want to go with DEI. No, because a lot of people don't realize that you are a Nepo baby. Yeah, because people don't pay a whole lot of attention to Wyoming, so they forget the fact that your father actually served in the State House from 1983 to 2006. So you don't really want to draw attention to that, because eventually all of this groundswell of support that you're enjoying about it's supposed to be the best person available will come for the nepotism. It's just a matter of time. I told Don Jr. and Eric the exact same thing. That's not racist. It's just funny. Now that is definitely racist. That is definitely racist. This person seems unstable, and I suggest for the viability of Trump's candidacy that he keeps his distance.
Yeah, Bernie's doing well. The great Laura Loomer. Some of you know Laura. She's a fantastic person, great woman.
Or not. You know, speaking of unstable, it has come to my attention that one of y'all gave Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert the DEI playbook, and I need to know who did it. I need to know who gave them the playbook. That was supposed to be for competence only. You can't have somebody with a family mugshot scrapbook using the DEI playbook. And why? Let's say it together. It makes us look racist. That is exactly right.
First off, he said he's going to hire a black female for vice president, and he just skipped over. What about white females? What about any other group? When you go down that route, you take mediocrity, and that's what they have right now as a vice president.
So are you suggesting she was a DEI hire?
100%. She was a DEI hire. He said he was going to hire, and she didn't. Her record is abysmal at best.
Who even are you?
Prominent conservative congressman Tim Burchett, he was one of the people who pounced on this image of you making those false claims. He did actually take the post down. He acknowledged that he was incorrect there. What do you have to say to him as a result of all of this?
I would just like to say I'm sorry for his misunderstanding about who I am. And I appreciate him taking it down, but he still should be held accountable for what he put out there that was wrong.
Oh, you're that congressman who accused the wrong Chiefs fan of the shooting. Yeah, did you ever apologize?
Hey Tim, do you think you should apologize to Denton Loudermill, that guy that you accused of being a mass shooter?
I think he wants to
left it up
interview
for
you
4
for the
days,
news.
Tim, and never apologized to the guy. Why didn't you apologize to that guy? It's such an easy thing to do. Just apologize to the man.
You know, your mother told me, allegedly, that you were the second biggest disappointment in her life.
I would say the first one was voting for Tim Burchett, but she probably didn't. See what I mean? When this dude and these women are calling someone a DEI hire, you don't leave the casuals anywhere to go. Yes, it makes the independents and the uncommitted voters feel racist. Yeah, exactly, because they all belong in a used car lot. Is there anything in your plan but racism?
Like, it just makes no sense. And what if we had black dudes, black brothers for Trump? Well, we'd all lose our blackness as soon as we showed up for the meeting. So, I mean, or what if we had white guys for, I don't know, Nazism? You know, like, where do you draw the line?
Yeah, you're definitely not beating those weird allegations. And you know what? Speaking of blacks for Trump, it's looking real sad out here. Yeah, it's looking real sad out here. I would say morale is especially low.
And by the way, Kamala will not be your first female president. She will not be your first female president. It's not the way it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to have a socialist. Look, we're not going to be a socialist nation. We're not going to have a socialist president, especially a female.
Okay, well, that's something different. That's something different. But see, that's what we call sexism. See, yeah, that's not going to help with the suburban women that you're trying to attract. In fact, you remember that crypto convention that Trump spoke at? Yeah, this is how many women were there.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made. And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
Childless cat ladies. There is growing criticism online right now to those comments, including from actress Jennifer Aniston. April, if your problem in the last election was suburban women, is this what you want voters to be hearing right now?
See, even if you take out all the charisma and literally anything to make a human being interesting, it's still sexism. Nice try, but even from women, it's still sexism. See, that's just called pick me behavior. Yeah, that's the same reason that Tim Scott got married. In fact, we just awarded the pick me of the month. That goes to Greenville Police Captain Aaliyah Paramore, who posted this. That's right, uphold the Constitution, protect our borders, and protect our children. That's a pick me right there. That is a pick me right there. Y'all are even making Tomi Lahren uncomfortable.
Don't get too comfortable on the Trump side, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this later, but the attacks on her personally, on whatever her past personally may have been, or calling her a childless lady, none of those are going to work, and they're going to make women second guess their support for what they may have felt for Donald Trump. Bad move.
Y'all are even making Tomi Lahren uncomfortable. Do you have anything, literally anything, to say about Kamala Harris that isn't racism or sexism?
There is going to be an effort to portray anybody who opposes her as either being sexist or racist. What does the campaign do? How does the Trump campaign get ahead of all of that?
Look, I think that this whole DE&I token hire of Kamala Harris has already been exposed.
Next.
Yeah, and then there's the DEI press secretary telling you that the DEI vice president is the future of the party here. And so the future looks kind of dim for the Democrats here, but this is no shocker either. Kamala Harris, she's the original Haktua girl. That's the way she got where she is. And the party's going downhill if it's in her hands.
That was tough.
How do you do both?
She represents something which I believe is probably the amalgam of the spirit of Jezebel, and in a way that'll be even more ominous than Hillary, because she'll bring a racial component and she's younger. And so this is going to be a real thing to rise above that. So in the spirit, as a Christian, I'm describing to you warfare on two levels.
How do you do both?
I'm just wondering, do you worry how that comes across? And maybe you draw no distinction between a female candidate and a male, and that's fair game, but that this could hurt you with female voters with these type of comments.
Well, let me say it again. Sure. The vice president is a candidate for president of the United States. I don't care about her gender. Neil, maybe you do, but I don't. I don't care about her race. I care about her
Then
competence.
why call her a ding-dong?
And I'm telling you what the polling shows. I'm telling you what the polling shows. And it does. And I'll be glad to sit down with you and walk you through the polls.
Please do, because I never know when it's constructive to call people names.
You know what? That's it. Ding dong. Just go with ding dong. It's the best thing I've heard all day. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you, or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com.